Welcome to chapter 45 of Memoirs of a White Guy. I wish I could sing. That would make it so much better every week. Anyway, welcome. If you're new to the podcast, great to have you here. Also, a very good time to start listening because today is a very special episode. I'm joined by Dom from Collective Noun. If you're not familiar with Collective Noun, they are an Australian sketch comedy group from Brisbane, Australia. They have a national radio show on their Oz Stereo network. So it's on say if you're from Melbourne, it's on Fox. It's Today FM if you're in Sydney. We talk about that in the podcast. So they're on every night from Monday to Thursday at 11 p.m. So if you want to listen, flick on your radio at 11 p.m. tonight and you'll be able to hear Collective Noun. I'd also recommend checking out their Facebook sketches as well. They do very funny videos on Facebook. You might have seen some already because a few have gone pretty darn viral. I'm talking 50 million views on their page viral, plus Viral Lad, Viral Lad. Uni Lad and Viral Thread. Oh man, Viral Lad. That's going to be the next page. Someone make Viral Lad. That's going to be like a combination of every single Facebook page I hate. Viral Lad. Anyway, go check out the Collective Noun. You won't be disappointed. So we recorded this podcast at the Hit 105 studios in Brisbane. It was 3 hours before my Brisbane show. It was about probably a month and a bit ago now. But yeah, that was really cool. So thanks very much for Dom for having me in the actual radio studios. This podcast totally doesn't deserve to be in a proper radio studio. So the first 5 minutes is just me freaking out about how legit this is. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Welcome to Memoirs of a White Guy, Dom.
Yes, thank you, Luke.
So
Good to
we
be
have
here.
Dom from Collective Noun joining us in his studio. I'm joining him, really.
Oh, yes, this is my terms of agreeing to do this podcast, is you're coming to me.
Yeah, so if you don't realize, Dom has a national, is it 11 p.m?
11 to 1, yes, Monday
11
to Thursday.
1, Monday to Thursday on the national Oz Stereo network. So if you're in Melbourne, it's Fox FM, Hit 105 in Brisbane. I don't know.
Today FM in Sydney. I mean, I can list the regionals,
anyway,
all of them.
You can catch Dom every night of the week, but yeah, don't list everyone. But if you're within earshot of a radio, you can hear Dom every night. The sweet dulcet tones of Dom.
Well, it's funny, Luke, because it sounds really impressive when you say it's a national show, but then it is, to counteract that, it's at 11 p.m, right?
Yeah.
So really, it's 20 listeners. But we just say national, and we just hope that sounds impressive.
This is technically an international podcast, so maybe I should be bragging about that.
Yeah, that's right. You should start every podcast
I've got an email from Norway a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
We'll start every podcast by saying right around the world, this is Memoirs of a White Guy.
Wow. So just spread the white supremacy globally. That's great. So in this studio, right, so we have to start. This is the coolest. This is the best quality sounding podcast you guys will ever hear. Even if I get a studio, I'll make it an effort to make it not sound this good because this is the peak. This is as good as the podcast gets. Yep. We're in a studio with a cardboard cutout of Osher Gunsberg, Beyonce, Drake, and Taylor Swift. And I'm starstruck. I'm not going to lie.
Well, yes, that's one of the secrets of commercial radio. We don't actually get celebrities in, just the cardboard cutouts of them.
Mate, you're not. Well, you're fooling me. So you had me fooled, and now I come in here and I'm seeing behind the scenes. Yeah. And Taylor's I still like Taylor. She can stay. It's
funny actually because I think that was for a party we did a few years ago, like a big tactic. They give cardboard cutouts of celebrities, and now they're just around the office. The scary thing is when we come in late at night, if the lights are off, it looks like somebody's in the studio, and you're like, oh, who's in there?
Oh, it's just Taylor. Hi, Taylor.
Just Taylor Swift hanging out in Studio 2.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, that's a great scare. If I was ever wanted to get surprised by someone in the dark,
that's true.
I'd want it to be Taylor Swift because then she could caress me and sing me to sleep.
Yeah.
That was weird. Classic. So, this is the coolest. Anyway, so I'm freaking out right now because it's always been my dream to do radio. But let's talk about how you got into radio, Dom.
That's I'll give you the abridged version because neither are that interesting. So I'll just keep it brief. Essentially, kind of did some comedy in high school. I had a drama teacher who said, "Hey, you should go do this comedy competition, school comedy competition, Class Clowns." A bit of a shout out for that. And so I went and did that.
Which was stand-up, right?
Yes, that was stand-up. And for the first year or two, I guess, out of school, I did stand-up and did some stuff in different groups.
How regularly?
So we did a few comedy festival shows, and then I only ever did, like, to be honest, 6 or 7 open mic nights myself.
Okay, yeah.
But I went to a lot of them, and when we were in the comedy festival, the Brisbane Comedy Festival, which, by the way, we had no right to be at. We were 17-year-old kids who had never done it really before.
Yeah, I've never done the Brisbane Comedy Festival. You've beaten me to the punch. So
I think somehow we got in the back door, kind of saying we were from Class Clowns, and they're like, "All right, come on through."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we got tickets to every other comedy festival show for free.
that's why it's great in
That's
Melbourne. You get to go see. That's like one of the reasons why I do the festival. Like
Right.
everyone's like, "Oh, Luke wants to do the festival, to beat." Nah, I just want to go see like good comedians.
Well, that's it, right? And so yeah, very quickly I got to see a lot of live comedy pretty quickly, and also equally quickly realised I wasn't very good at it. I used to speak very quickly. I still speak quite fast, but like
So do I.
you couldn't understand me. Like I remember one
Okay.
guy at an open mic night who was emceeing the night said to me afterwards, he's like, "You got some funny gear, but I couldn't understand any of it until 5 minutes after."
You sounded like the guy who does the terms and conditions for the Australian government Canberra ads. You're like,
Yes.
"Hi, my name's Dob, and this is brought to you by."
No, 100%. And actually, that has been a dream of mine. And if they are hiring at Parliament House, get in
Man,
touch.
you should have auditioned 3 years ago
Oh,
when you were doing stand up. You should just did you ever film it? Just send them that.
Oh, that's so true. My voice is a bit high for it though, but you could raise the tone.
Oh, I think they lowered the
So lower
tone of
the
his
tone, sorry.
voice.
Yeah, no
Do you
one
reckon
speaks
it's
that
because the
low.
guy is ashamed to have that profession? Like he's like, "Hey, can you put on a voice changer?" Because
Well, so that was kind of my induction to comedy, and I kind of feel embarrassed whenever I meet people like you who've done real live comedy, because I'm like, I did like probably 20 live sets ever, right?
Okay.
So I really only dabbled.
no, that's still a lot. Like that's still. I mean,
Oh.
I've only last night was actually my 200th gig. It
See,
was
this is what I mean,
200
right?
No, but that's. Yeah, but that's all I've been doing for like
Yes.
2 years, like that and
100%.
online stuff.
Well,
So
I realized pretty quickly that I wasn't very good at it, and that as if you've heard my radio show before, you know that I often talk about my love of milk, and
oh yeah, if you don't know Dom, he's a real hard nut. Like he likes
Oh,
all
yeah.
things manly, like milk and real estate shows.
Yes, no, I am a proud mummy's boy, is how I describe myself.
You shouldn't be.
I use that title. That's I'm reclaiming the title. They've taken mummy boy as like an ashamed thing.
Yeah.
I'm taking that as a proud thing now. But so that's kind of I guess I realised that comedy clubs, weren't my scene exactly. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause
Well,
you've
they
been
don't
there.
often serve warm milk, so
Just a glass of Smarter White. Thanks.
Yeah.
No, so I kind of always had the dream of doing radio.
that's how I originally wanted to get into comedy. I loved Hamish and Andy, as I've spoken about before on this podcast. And I because I remember I still haven't missed a show, Hamish and Andy show, since 2010.
Yeah,
Or
wow.
2009 or something like that.
See,
And,
well, this is the interesting thing. We almost tag teamed their entire run then, because I did the first half of their run, right?
yeah.
So when I was in high school, I had a little portable radio that I'd
Yeah.
take outside onto my deck every single day and listen to the full 2 hours.
So I listen to the podcast. I don't
Right.
have time for all the pop hits. I mean,
Well, see, high school Dom didn't have a lot going on.
okay, yeah.
Look at me. I wasn't in the sporting teams.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't have training after school to go to. So yeah, I went out there and listened. I actually remember because the guy who did the traffic for Brisbane is a guy called Chopper Dave. He still does it actually. And that's his on-air name. He's not actually called Chopper Dave. That
I
would
was
have
going
been
to say, I'm like,
amazing
Jesus,
coincidence.
That's threatening. All right, Chopper Day. I get why it's called Chopper. I'm
Yes.
just thinking of Chopper Reed, and I'm picturing like this big dude in a helicopter going, like just refusing to report the news, like.
But no, so I remember the first time I came in here and spoke to Chopper Dave to give him how much traffic time we needed. That was like a starstruck moment for me. That's how much I used to listen to Hamish and Andy.
Wow.
I know, I'm a weird person.
You were starstruck by Chopper Dave. Chopper Dave was probably just confused, like, why is this guy stuttering? Is he blushing? He probably knows me as Chopper Dave. That's fair enough.
Chopper Dave is a celebrity in Brisbane, I reckon. He's a
Who
celebrity
is
in
your
spots.
biggest celebrity? I'd say Osher Gunsberg.
In Brisbane? You mean currently living in Brisbane from
Yeah,
Brisbane?
right. He doesn't live in Brisbane anymore. So
No, do you mean from Brisbane?
okay, currently living.
Currently living in Brisbane.
Probably Dom and Zach from Collective Noun.
Maybe in my mum's eyes. I wouldn't think in many others.
Well-
I would. You know what? We've got a few who in Brisbane terms are famous. We've got a hairdresser called Stefan. He's got a hairdressing chain and a Sky Needle in West End. But no one knows Stefan outside of Brisbane.
Okay, I don't know that.
It's just an eccentric hairdresser that we have up here that nobody...
And people from Brisbane listening will be like, oh, yeah, Stefan.
Everyone knows Stefan. Everyone will pass to Stefan hairdresser. Yeah, he's
wow, okay.
a bit of an 80s celebrity. And then, we've had a fair share of celebrities who've come through here, but most people move out of Brisbane pretty quickly.
It's like a goal to not be a Brisbane celebrity.
Well, I mean, I think we've had quite a few. Carl Stefanovic's a Brisbane kid, I think. Or maybe he's a Queensland. I can't exactly remember. But the point is, if you want to go and succeed in something, rarely do people stay in Brisbane.
Well, you've done quite well for yourself here. You're on the on national radio every night. You're far ahead of I.
We're proudly representing Brisbane.
Yeah.
There's I think we're the first show to come out of Brisbane nationally. So it might be 11 p.m. at night, but I'm still going to wear that as a badge.
No, that's great. And have you done like graveyards and stuff before when you started?
Yeah. Well, so this is kind of picking up that story. So I listen to Hamish and Andy every afternoon. Kind of loved their thing. Then found what was the Brisbane Nova breakfast show at the time, Michelle, Tim and Marty, which became the Drive show with Kate, Tim and Marty. And, I loved them, and I just listened to a lot of radio and loved it, right? And to me, I always compared like the life of a stand-up to the life of like a radio announcer. And I thought, radio announcer, you're doing new stuff every day. You're like having fun with a friend. Whereas a stand-up, I'm like, I'd get really lonely. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, man. Like, Emily's in the studio with us. You can turn on Emily's microphone. Emily she comes with me on tour, and it's the best thing because I will go insane.
Yeah,
like
right.
you've got no one to talk to, and you're in your head all day, and you're like thinking about the show.
Yeah.
And you get to the venue. I'd be lonely. I wouldn't even want to go out there because I'd just be sad. I'd be a sad little boy sitting backstage going, oh.
Does he get like that, Emily?
His shows wouldn't actually happen because
last
there's a lot of work.
At Sydney, Emily was door person and sound tech.
And merch seller. So I had 3 jobs.
Both of the people at the venue didn't rock up. So it was...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I could not do it without her. And I think, it is... And lots of people say, like, doing the same stuff every night get boring, and like I'm pretty excited to dump this show, like because I've got 3 more shows to go.
Yeah, right.
And then I've pretty excited to kind of end this run and write a new show for next year. That's for sure, because I do get a bit sick of it.
And I think it's just, to be honest, it's just I have a short attention span, right? so it really doesn't take a lot for me to lose interest in, or to zone out for a minute. And so, I wasn't, so here are the things against me. A club or a bar scene isn't my scene, so that hurts.
If people listen to this podcast, they know how much my distaste for nightclubs.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's not my scene. I wasn't very good at it. And I like to do
like
new
you
things.
Couldn't stand in a room with strobe lights. You're like, I'm just not.
No, I mean in terms of the stand-up scene, right?
Oh, right.
So I wasn't good at stand-up. I didn't like the
bars.
scene. I'm not good at bars either.
Okay, but that's a different thing.
That's a different story. No, so it just basically everything was countering against me there, and I always wanted to get into radio. And then knew someone who was at, funnily enough, the Christian community radio station up here, 96.5.
Yeah.
Technically, it's family radio with Christian undertones.
Yeah, okay.
And so I got in there, and the good thing about them, in comparison to a lot of community radio, is it had a commercial format. So you had your songs into ads into because it ran like a commercial station, so you learnt how to do commercial type radio there.
Because I've done community radio in Melbourne for about a year, and it's like we pick the song and it's like welcome back, and then you click the song yourself, and then there's no ads because it's community radio, and it's just
community up here. Some of the other stations you can talk for 20 minutes about a song you didn't mind.
Of course we never talked about the songs. We were here's Mr. Brightside by the Killers coming back. We're gonna be like just doing whatever, like playing whatever game we thought of.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we would just talk about socks for 20 minutes, which is worse than a song.
Well, see, that was kind of the thing about 96.5 is you had to do your 3 to 5 minute segments. You couldn't go on for 20 minutes. You had a format. So it kind of taught, I guess, the format side of things pretty well. And anyway, I was there for a little while with a friend Sam, who I did a show with.
Yep.
Then we got into what was then B105 to do a late night every now and then show. And that went for like 2-3 years.
Is that run by Australia? Is that
that's Hit 105 now.
Okay.
So,
and how did you get in with the commercial radio? Because I've always wanted to know that. Like, I want to do it myself. So.
Yeah, I get asked that question every now and then. It's certainly, I don't think I'd recommend the way I did it, but what I did was I basically spent a few days tracking down the email addresses I found
Well, I've done that. Like, I've called. Oh, this was ages ago. This was before I started
Yeah.
comedy, and when I was looking for work experience, and it was like, I think it was during high school. I used to call up the radio station like
Right.
a loser and be like, "Will you just have me in the building to stand there?"
Oh, man,
and they
I
were
totally
like,
get
"No," and I was like, "Yeah, that's." I forget why that sounds really creepy.
Well, see, this building, the Hit 105 building, SCA Brisbane, it is actually on my drive home from 96.5. So I would drive home past it every
From
night.
community radio,
Yeah.
you go, "I'll just stop by the big leagues and see what's going on."
Oh, I used to think back there, if I could do a 3 a.m. 1 hour shift once, I'd be done. That's all I'd need to do and I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Right? And
All I have
anyway,
to do is a podcast and pretend right now that I'm on radio and I'm happy. This is great.
well, yeah, so that was like, I guess that was the dream. And then, I found the Southern Cross Stereo email template. You know, firstname.lastname@sca.com.au for anyone listening and who wants to contact someone in SCA. And I found all the content directors, who is like the boss of On Air around the country, and basically sent some audio around to all of them. And one of them, who was the boss in Perth at the time, liked it and got in touch with the Brisbane boss and said, "Hey, you should give these guys a go."
What?
And
so
so-
you sent them the demo from the stuff you'd already done?
Yeah, yeah.
And you send them a whole show?
No, like 3 breaks. I think it's about 8
Really?
minutes. Yeah, and I think I might have slightly exaggerated my comedy experience in that
Yeah.
email.
Oh, I would. I'd be like, yeah, I've, done... I don't know. I just lie. Yeah. Everyone lies on their resume.
Oh,
That's,
of course. I might have said something like fresh from 2 Brisbane International Comedy Festival shows or something along
Which
those
wasn't a
lines.
lie, though.
Well, that wasn't a lie, but I certainly didn't say fresh from 2 bad Brisbane International Comedy Festival shows. But yeah, and so no, his name was Mickey, was the boss in Perth, and he got the boss here, Mitch, to let us in, and we kind of just spent. Then I kind of learned how to panel to push the buttons, and
So you weren't on air at first?
no, we were doing like a pre-recorded Sunday night show at 10 p.m. We did like 3 of them, but it was a bit odd because we. Geez, I haven't thought about this in ages. We pre-record them on like a Friday morning, like 10 breaks. Then the boss would come in and hear them, and he'd pick like 4 that were okay to go to air, and he'd put them on late on a Sunday night pre-recorded.
Right.
So it was like, at that time, I was around the radio every Sunday night being like, I'm coming on now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it certainly was
But that's cool.
baby steps.
You can listen to yourself.
That was amazing. I was on B105. Like,
Yeah.
that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, for everyone outside of Brisbane, from like they
Well,
like,
no.
I don't know, is that the dream? It sounds good.
let me go through the stations. 92.9, Hit 107.
Yeah.
Your local hit network station. No, so that's kind of where it started, and then
And wait, did you message the Nova people as well? Like, did you do all the
oh yeah,
every Triple M or like
every content director in the country, even the small town ones. I nearly got a job in northern Tasmania. In what's the town in northern Tasmania?
Oh, so you were just willing to pack up and do this?
I was just wanting someone to reply and tell me if I was any good or not.
Yeah,
really.
okay.
I think it's Devonport.
You just
Devonport.
wanted positive affirmation. You didn't even want a job. You just wanted someone to tell you that they liked you.
That's it. I just wanted friends. I'm like, please be my friends. No, I think it was Devonport, which is like north of Launceston. I nearly got a job there, funnily enough, which would have been a different life. But yeah, no. So just sent a lot of emails around, and maybe shouldn't have because it was not good at the time. Like it really was. No one. Here's something I wish someone had told me in my early years: that you're not going to be good for a few years in whatever you do creatively.
Oh, that's what I tell I always get,
Yes.
what do I do when I start stand-up? I'm like, you're not going to be good. And
Yes.
I saw you can back that up. Like, you just, even if, like, I was terrible at the start. I was so bad. Like, Emily saw my first gig. It wasn't good.
Well, and
Like, look,
even,
she's shaking her head like, yeah, you were bad. You can speak if you want.
but
You weren't that bad.
well, that's a loving girlfriend thing to say. I think the girlfriend has to
you know
say
what?
that.
You never got booed.
Oh, great.
that's-
Yeah, but if that's the standard, then like,
one
the
threw
standard should be to
anything.
get laughs, not, well, you never
You know
got
what?
shit thrown
you
at
got
you.
murmurs.
Murmurs. That's
I
not
did
bad.
get giggles, and I think when I do something spontaneous and off the script, it would be only the time I get a laugh.
Right.
And then then you start to realize, oh, everything I'm writing is not funny. Scrap that and be yourself. And that's when you
Yes.
start to become good.
Well, 100%. And I'm certainly not sitting here saying I think what I do or what we do now is good. I think there's still a long
your
way
station
to go.
is great. Your show is great.
Oh,
Like
I'm
I'm a
flattered.
fan.
Well, thank you so
And also,
much.
Dom and Zach do videos online. I should
yeah.
probably say.
Yes,
we did Finn precursor to this. They do lots of online content, weekly videos. If you want actually consistent content, you're sick of waiting around for my videos, go follow them.
Can I just say, I think I mentioned at the start of this, I'd give you the abridged version of my story. We're 18 minutes in and I'm in like 2012. So.
Oh, that's great. Let's go. 2013. All right.
I guess I was able to do that with Sam for a few years there.
Yeah.
And at that stage, so Sam and I did
He's an
96.5.
ex-member of Collective Noun.
Yes, he went off to do his own thing in life and go back to uni.
Is it weird to ask what happened there? Because I used to listen to your and Sam's.
I mean, that's 2016 story. I'm still in 2013.
Oh, wow. So he hasn't left yet. He's still in the group.
Well, so Sam and I did that for a few years. And then Zach was doing the night show at 96.5 at that time. He'd done comedy as well, but he was now doing the night show. And Michael, who's now our producer and films everything, he was one of the junior techs at 96.5.
And were you high school friends, all of you?
No. So Sam and I went to the same high school. Zach is like 4 years older than both Sam and I, and then Michael's a year younger than us. So we all went to Sam and I same high school. Zach and Michael different high schools.
So they knew each other, and you two knew each other.
Oh no, so they went to different high schools.
Right.
From each
So how
other.
did you all meet?
96.5, right?
Oh.
So yeah. So Zach did the night show. Michael was the tech, and Sam and I were doing our little show, right? And then I think it was Josh Jansen, who's a guy in Melbourne who used to work for Fox FM, did a podcast with Ryan Shelton. And he spoke about how, him, Hamish and Andy and their mate Tim, who's the four of them are Radio Karate.
Yeah.
How they started making some stuff. And, Zach sent me the podcast and said, listen to this. I didn't know Zach well at that stage. I was like, that's a good idea. We should get together and make some stuff.
Yeah.
And it was the Newmarket McDonald's in Brisbane. We were sitting out the front there having a chat. And that was the first meeting of Collective Noun. And we just kind of thought, let's make some stuff.
Over a cheeseburger.
What
a way to start.
So that was early 2014.
Share some fries and get going.
Yeah, pretty much. Then we kind of did Collective Noun for, I guess, second half of 2014 videos.
And where did the name come from? Is it a piss take of like One Direction and stuff?
Oh, no.
That's what I thought it was.
Why? How?
Because like Collective Noun, it's like, oh, we're a collective. Like, you know how they always have like a one-word name that's...
Right.
I don't know. I thought it was like a piss take of a boy band.
No, we just thought it sounded cool. We genuinely thought we needed a name, and we narrowed it down to two. I think Zach and Michael came up with them. And there are two options for Collective Noun, and the other was Dry Clean Only.
Yeah,
right?
you clicked the good one. That's... Good call.
See, our concern with Dry Clean Only was that people might think that was our comedy style, right? Dry and clean only. Whereas it was meant to be like the tag on clothes that says Dry Clean Only, which we thought would be cool for a logo, but not much else.
Okay. And then what was the reasoning behind Collective Noun then?
It was better than Dry Clean Only.
but how did you come up with the Collective Noun?
I'm not actually... I think we just thought it sounded cool. That's
what we did at high school, because I used to be in a band, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
we just throw on band names at a wall and... Yeah, it was like, what is the meaning? We're like two words that sounded good together.
Oh, see, I said this to Zach. We need to come up with a really like cool mythological story, that maybe some great relative of us or ancestors
had me
passed down a name.
4 years. Yeah. I was like, that's so clever. It's like a piss take of because like, boy bands are like, because at the time I think there was a boy band called like The Collective or something like that. And I was like, that's really funny. Collective Noun. It's because it's a comedic version, but they're a group of boys. I like what I was thinking way too far into it, obviously.
Oh, man. No, look, I'm happy to go with your explanation. That's much cooler.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
I just thought it was like, I was like, wow, so in depth and thought out.
Yeah, not at all. But I'm absolutely happy to run with that. That sounds a lot better. But no, so yeah, we did videos. It was still kind of separate then. Sam and I were doing the radio show at Hit 105. Zach and Michael were still at 96.5, but we did videos together for 2014. Then Zach kind of decided to quit his job at 96.5 and come full-time on board Collective Noun in 2015.
Yeah.
And mid-2015, I was like, there was kind of a discussion where it's like, Zach's the funniest person in this group. Why is he not on the radio show? This makes no sense.
I think, ask Emily and I, we both think it's, I don't know, we were talking about last night. I just think you're hilarious. Like, I don't know.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
it. On the radio, though, I don't know. It's not even it's not either or. It's the dynamic that you have.
Yeah, well, that's something that we've been very lucky to have evolve is that dynamic. That Zach and I play off each other, I think, quite well.
But that's like any good radio duo. I don't think anyone's good really
Well,
by themselves.
No, I mean, it's just...
That's why this podcast is awful. Like every
Oh,
week,
man.
and people still listen to it.
Seriously, Zach and I had a chat the other night when I mentioned I was doing this.
Yeah.
And Zach mentioned he'd heard a bit of your podcast. And he
Yeah.
was like, the respect of having to do like a talk on your own for like
You
an hour.
sound like a schizophrenic. Like you're just yelling in your bedroom, and every week I'm like, what am I doing?
Oh,
But people, like I speak to people at the shows, and it's, everyone who comes to the shows listens to the
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
and they're like, man, like I was listening to and they just like it, and you're like, I think it's just like having a conversation in your head. I think that's the
Yeah.
appeal with podcasts.
Well, see, I really enjoyed listening to your one as well, and it's interesting because like it's so different. Like if I run out of things to say, I'll just look at Zach and he has to talk now. Do you know what I mean? Right, and that's sharing the load, having that conversation makes it flow pretty well.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the pressure of doing it on your own.
Well,
like-
I think Bill Burr does it. I think I just heard Bill Burr does it. Or my friend Lewis Spears, he's been on the podcast stuff. He does it on his own, and I guess I heard them two do it, and I was like, well, I'm good at talking.
Right.
Anyone can talk.
Yeah, right.
And it is quite hard to be funny, to be on, to have that kind of on setting. Like I said, it's like one funny thing in this podcast. The terms and conditions thing, that was pretty funny earlier. But that was probably that's the thing. It's hard to be on all the time because I'm not just funny all the time.
Well, I mean, who is?
Well, Emily.
Emily is funny all the time,
See,
of course.
I love putting her in situations where she doesn't know what to say. Watch her freak out. Shh.
Anything to add to the conversation,
Yeah.
Emily?
I could say my sick cake joke again.
Oh,
What's
it's like
the-
this
Every time I get on the podcast, I
Yeah.
tell my sick cake joke.
So
I
she
haven't heard the
this
cake
is
joke.
just tell it.
Okay, so-
You know what? You laugh at seems like a lot. Yeah, see? Okay. If Dom laughs, I don't
funny.
think he'll laugh.
If Dom laughs,
So
it's funny. That's it.
This
Okay.
is
This
one
is
of the
gospel.
best jokes that she's ever told.
No, this
All right.
is best joke. Air quotes here. All right. So we're at Luke's house for dinner,
Yep.
and his mum gave us cake, and Luke's gone to his brother. I'm going to eat this cake faster than you, and then he did. So then I proceeded to say, "Wow, you really took the cake there."
Nah. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I mean,
I
I'm
told
sorry.
you, it's-
You know what?
You know what?
Look-
You looked at you're like, wait, is that the end of the
I'll
joke?
be completely honest. I didn't know you'd said the punchline yet.
Yeah.
You know what? I have proof on my phone
It's
of
like that
someone
old
sending
heckle.
Luke saying it's good. Someone said it's better
Oh,
than
there
Luke's
was an
content.
email from a few girls that were like, you're being unfair. It was a good joke.
I have a photo saying Emily's cake joke is
Yeah.
better than half your content. So that either says you're really
Cop
bad
that.
or I'm
Oh.
so funny.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's better than any joke I've ever written. I'm just saying the bar's quite low.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know, I was thinking, I realised this a few years ago. I remembered the first joke I ever wrote was in year 9 when I was bored in English class.
You
I
tell
wrote
the
a
first joke you ever wrote, and I'll tell the first joke I've wrote, and
Okay.
I bet you mine's worse.
Okay, so here's my one, right? This is one I loved when I was a big Tim Vine fan, the UK comedian who does
Yeah,
puns.
one-liners,
In high school, I always used to get in trouble for gluing myself to my headmasters, but you've got to stick to your principles.
That's so much better.
Dom Face,
than
circa
mine.
2007, year
All right.
9.
The first joke I didn't write it. I never actually wrote it down. I just thought of it when I was like, okay. I think it was like on the day where I'm like, I should do stand up. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the next 5 minutes, I was like, let's come up with jokes.
Yeah.
And this was the first thing that I ever thought to say on stage. I never did it, obviously. It's worse than your cake joke. I don't even want to tell it. All right. So it's a physical joke. I was going to walk on stage and sit in a chair and say, I'm sorry, I'm not that into stand-up comedy.
You barely laughed at that.
And now 2 years later, people pay to see this.
Look, I
I'm
mean,
doing my Brisbane show in a few hours, and
you know what? I'm going to give you a challenge. Start your show with that joke tonight.
no way, you can't open with that. People have paid, like you know how Emily said earlier, you've never had stuff thrown at you. Tonight will be the night.
Oh, man. Look, all I'm saying is if I was in that Brisbane audience, I'd love to see the chair joke start the show. But it's your call, your gig. Your gig. No,
I'll let you know what I do.
I don't want to get you chased out of Brisbane. I mean,
No. I
hasn't
will
happened for a
quickly.
while.
I feel like although you were saying most people want to get chased out of Brisbane.
Well, that's true. I mean,
it
that's
might
a
be a good
positive.
result. I actually quite like Brisbane.
Yeah, look, I have a lot of Brisbane pride. You know, I'm a massive Brisbane Lions fan. I've spent my whole life here. You know, I love the city.
And that's, if you're not from Brisbane, people from Melbourne might be going, so he's into footy. You're an outsider here being into AFL, because up here it's rugby.
Oh, it's rugby league through and through. In fact, actually, I've got the Gold Coast Suns versus West Coast game on the TV behind you. It's near the end of the third quarter, and the Suns are winning.
Been wondering why I've been getting distracted throughout this podcast, and it's because there is a footy.
Yeah.
So behind me, I can see Drake and then Gold Coast playing West Coast.
Yes, I put that on the studio TV. I'm a Brisbane Lions fan, not a Gold Coast fan, but I love to see the brothers down the road do well.
Yeah.
No, because it feels like AFL up here. It's a little small tribe of us who follow it. Because everything is rugby league. State of Origin was this week just gone.
It sounds more like a cult up here, AFL.
It is a bit like a cult. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I did some work with the Lions for a few years, and like just like media work, like doing podcasts or their ground day announcing type stuff. And you know, it was good fun, but it's so funny because there's probably like 10 or 15 die-hard Lions fans on Twitter who would start tweeting me all the time, who I got to know quite well over the time. And I don't know if you'd get that with the Broncos because that's the rugby league team.
There's more than 15.
Well, the Broncos up here, I guess, you know the love of AFL in Melbourne, right?
Yeah.
And there's like 9 Victorian teams or something? Is it 9 or 10? Something like that, right? There's similar love of NRL in Brisbane and one team.
But one team.
So imagine that all focused on one team, and that's the Broncos.
There must be riots if they lose.
Well, they don't lose often, so that's kind of...
Oh, that's good, but if they're lucky...
They've made the finals something like 20 years of the past 22 or 23.
Oh, that's just not fair. I go for Melbourne in the AFL, and that's not fair. It's
not fair, is it?
No, and you go for Brisbane in the AFL, that's not fair.
No, and I like this. I remember a few years ago, they came 10th one year, and everyone's like, sack the coach. I'm like, you came 10th.
Yeah.
We haven't come 10th in 10 years.
Oh, like the 10th is incredible.
10th is a great effort.
That's a great result, yeah.
I could talk about my struggles of being a Lions fan for some time. It's been a rough few years.
Yeah, I can tell.
But we'll turn it around.
You can see the pain in those eyes.
Oh, it's aged me. But no, so look, there's not really a lot to do and see in Brisbane.
Yeah.
But we have amazing weather. It's a friendly place.
I asked Dom on the way in, and he goes, "Oh, have you done the airport yet?" And I'm like, "Yep, we just came from there." He's like, "Oh, well, you're pretty much done." I've seen the sights in Brisbane.
No, there's. I mean, I guess people go up to Mount Cootha. South Bank's kind of cool. Not as good as Melbourne South Bank.
I've been to King George Square before.
Yeah,
is that a thing? Is that like you know? It was like discount Federation Square.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But also Federation Square is not that good because the architecture looks awful.
Yeah, well,
in Melbourne.
It's a little. You know, it's what we call our exciting thing. I mean, there is one thing that's
there's
opened
a
up.
statue in the middle.
Yeah,
I was
there?
like, yeah,
I didn't
is
even
it
know
King George? I don't know.
Jeez, that's a good question.
There's a guy on a horse in the middle.
Really?
Oh,
It's probably a rugby league player.
All
All our statues are rugby league
It's
players.
probably the Brisbane Bronco, actually.
No, and then apart from that, no, there's not a lot else. I live in, southern suburban Brisbane, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I live a pretty bland life, to be honest.
Oh, I live in the suburbs of Melbourne.
Yeah,
well.
right.
I don't live in the
What
city.
suburb?
I'm not going to say on the podcast because people always ask me, but yeah.
I wouldn't know anyway, really, because I don't know Melbourne suburbs.
It's like 40 minutes out of the city.
Right, okay. Yeah. It's not Toorak. Toorak's the only one I know.
No, Toorak is like 15 minutes out of the city.
And very rich.
Very
yeah,
convenient.
because comedians always... Well, this is how I know different cities of Australia, because you can tell the comedians have a suburb they make a posh joke about and a poor joke about,
and
right?
It's Frankston and Toorak.
Frankston and Toorak.
What's your two here?
Your rich one is Ascot.
Yep.
So this will help you tonight. If you have any jokes about rich people, Ascot's the one to make. People love that. And probably Ipswich or Logan are your two.
I've heard Ipswich as a whole.
I mean, it's an interesting place.
Yeah, I've heard both of those. Actually.
I went to school in Logan, so I know Logan quite well. Wow. But yeah, no, it's
Did you fit in with your milk at recess? Were they smashing tinnies at recess in primary school?
Well, it's funny because the school I went to was it was a private school, right? So it was pretty good there. But there was a state school across the road, and there'd often be like it was so funny. You'd see us sitting there with our strawberry breakers, and then literally over the fence on the other side, there'd be brawls at lunchtime, and you could hear the noise of it and kind of see them in the distance.
Did you see fights at school?
Oh yeah,
we never had fights. Maybe one a year.
In high school or primary school?
High school even. We didn't.
High school, there was like one big fight a year.
Yeah, it was.
And
But when it went
everyone
down,
knows about the big fight. Like you
Yeah.
go, remember that fight between that
There
person
was,
and
like,
that person? Everyone's like,
cop
oh
called
yeah,
once. That's about
that was
it.
crazy.
There may well have been fights at my school. I was just the most naive, unaware. I mean, I spent my lunchtimes often in the library, Luke. That shouldn't surprise you at all.
No, I'm not surprised. I feel bad for you. I'm not
Hey,
surprised.
I'm not far off. I used to read in primary school. I get lunch by
Emily
myself.
used to.
Yeah, I loved school. School was the best, right?
I used to spend lunchtime playing hacky sack, so I'm not
Right.
much cooler.
But yeah, so apart from that, I mean, Brisbane's just, you know what? What's great about it is you got Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast so close. And...
Yeah, I went to the Gold Coast about a month ago. It's I don't know if you heard. Anyway, I did a podcast about a day after I went to the Gold Coast.
Right.
It was an angry podcast.
Right.
It was just like Australian Thailand.
Yeah, well, here's a little bit of a secret that most Brisbane people I know go off. Locals, so people from Brisbane, holiday on the Sunshine Coast, and interstate people go to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
That's not a golden rule, but most people I know do that.
I've got a friend, Josh Wade, who's also been a past guest on the podcast. He lives in the Gold Coast, and he went and kind of met us in there and stuff, and he's like, I don't go to this bit, like the tourist bit.
Cattle Avenue surfers.
Yeah, no one goes to surfers.
It's
here.
lovely, like further down, like Burleigh, Palm Beach.
Oh, we almost saw like two 15-year-olds getting a punch on at Macca's, like
Jeez.
over a McWrap. Like,
Yeah.
just
well,
like,
if there's any reason to get into a fight,
that's true.
it's a McWrap.
It's a McWrap. Yeah, you wouldn't fight over a burger, but the wraps are, I'd start throwing fists if someone tried to steal my meat.
But yeah, no, the Sunshine Coast, on the other hand, is like nature and beauty and like these long beaches. So,
That sounds beautiful.
well, Zach's like a surfer, right? And so he goes to the Sunshine Coast. Yeah, you wouldn't pick it, would you?
And do you just boogie board next to him?
Oh,
Or?
I don't go out in the sun. Have you seen my
I
complexion?
thought you were going to say, I didn't go out in the water. Then you just went, I didn't go out in the sun.
Oh no, man, no. I'm a let's go to the movies for the 3:30 p.m. session type person. I'm not
3:30?
Oh yeah, that's a wild night on my books.
Oh, yeah. Be home by 5.
Ready for a 6 p.m. tuck in?
Yep.
It's great. But yeah, no, so in saying that, the one advantage of growing up in Brisbane and doing this stuff in Brisbane is everyone I've chatted to, so it's like Melbourne, Sydney, even Adelaide, like really competitive, right? Like it was pretty, like there were not many other shows trying to get a show in Brisbane. You know, not many other comedians trying to get a radio show in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Because there's not much like... You know, there's a lot of people want to be musicians and actors, I guess, up here as always. But there wasn't, like, I remember the whole...
Yeah, well, I've spoken to, me and Lewis stuff have spoken about it. And,
Yeah.
I've always said that if I got offered a job, like, you just have to take it because, because literally Melbourne, the standard's so high, and because Melbourne and Sydney is very hard to get into with anything.
And the thing with Brisbane is when I was doing
I
stand-up...
know if I'd take Tasmania, actually. I'd probably draw. I'd take Bris. I wouldn't take Tasmania.
No, I'd live in Hobart. Hobart's amazing.
Really? I've never been there. This is me being
Tasmania?
ignorant.
No, Hobart's beautiful. Hobart's one of the most beautiful places. Sorry, this is the old person in me talking.
Yeah.
But it's... I think when I was doing stand-up, I knew pretty much the entire Brisbane comedy scene, and it was like 30 people. Right?
Oh, in Melbourne, it's hundreds of comedians.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that takes us, I guess, back to the story through to 20...
What year are we up to now?
I think we're in 2015 still. So Zach joins the show mid-2015.
This is actually a memoirs of a white guy. For
It
once.
really is.
It's literally an autobiography.
And man, I'm telling you, this is the abridged version. Seriously,
Wow.
The long version. Did you ever see the Lord of the Rings extended cuts?
Yeah.
Like 6 hours long.
Dude, that's how I first watched the trilogy.
Yeah, right.
And I realized when I went back and watched the original trilogy, I was like, I just pretty much watch an extra 30 minutes of drone shots of New Zealand. I pretty much watched 30 minutes of a tourism commercial that didn't have to be in the film.
Oh, yeah.
And way more walking.
It's
like,
great.
then it's already existing. There's already way too much walking in those films.
If you've seen the initial movies without the extended cuts, it's quite interesting because they'll say, all right, we're going to journey to this place now. And then they're at this place.
Yeah.
The extended cuts shows the whole
It
walk
shows the journey. Yeah.
in real time. It's great. It's awesome.
Shows them stopping to drink and hydrate and urinate. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's outstanding, right?
Yeah.
And I can give you the extended cut of this one day, this story.
Oh,
but
God,
I'll give
I
you the
look
short
forward to it. Afterwards, we'll have a good old yarn.
So yeah, mid 2015, we started to get a bit of, I guess, views on the videos. We had,
So what was the first video that blew up?
that was late 2014, November. The G20 was in Brisbane, right? And that was the world
I remember
leaders,
that video.
right?
Yeah,
So we did a G20 leaders, so the world leaders, like, welcome to Brisbane.
You know what? That was funny because I didn't really get it. You talked about the needle building and stuff there. and I didn't get it, but I knew it was funny because the joke still applied to other states.
Yes,
You're like bagging
yeah.
your river. I was like, yeah, that's like the Yarra.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Everyone, that was funny. Even though you were referencing specific places in Brisbane,
Yeah.
it was still quite funny.
Well, the interesting thing about that was, at that stage we were only on the radio in Brisbane. Almost everything we'd done just had a Brisbane audience.
Yeah.
You know, we hadn't really thought bigger than Brisbane yet, to be
Yeah,
honest. And so, but that ended up, you know, on the front page of the Courier Mail's website, which is our
Yeah.
paper up here, and things like, you know, like that was kind of surprising to, I think it got like 500,000 views, which, you know,
when the first one
cool.
goes big, it's kind of like everything. Oh, now it's all starting to pay off.
Oh, you're
'Cause
like...
people don't realize you do 2-3 years of work and
Yes.
you get nothing, no reward.
Well, you sit there refreshing the... Oh,
Yeah,
look,
you
look
do.
how many
I
views
sat
it's
there
on now.
refreshing when the first one. I remember I was at work and
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Pokemon video blew up.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, "Oh my god, it's on 100,000 views!" Like,
Yeah.
Recently, the You Don't Know Me hit like 11 million,
Right.
and I was like, "Oh my god, 100,000!" And I refreshed, it was like 104,000. Oh my god, another
I
4,000
know.
people have viewed it.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Crazy.
And you know, and that was because G20, because as I said, not a lot happens in Brisbane. That kind of took over the city for a few days. You know, we had Putin here, Obama was
Yeah.
here, you know, all that sort of stuff.
That's almost. I'd be more starstruck than I'm in this studio. We've still got Osher and Taylor staring at us. Beyonce's giving me the eyes. Actually, Emily should be jealous. How do you feel about that? Beyonce's kind of.
It's fine. She's beautiful. Go for it.
Are you going to go have a crack at Osh or
Or
I'd
Drake.
probably have a
Osher
crack at-
Gunsberg,
I'd
by
probably
the
have a
way?
crack at Taylor. She's pretty gorgeous.
Would you
Look at her.
rather? Yeah, okay, out of all these 4 people, who would you rather?
Oh, Taylor. Me and
Who
Taylor.
would you rather?
I'd love a scene with Taylor.
I'm going to go no comment on that one.
I'm going to go Osh.
go.
Only because it's weird because you work with him.
And
you're like, dude,
are
he's
you
kind
not
of-
The Bachelor's #1 fan?
Oh yeah, if you don't know, I love The Bachelor. It's my
Right,
favorite
okay.
TV show.
Well, see, I have thought for some years.
I have a
that-
bit on it in my show.
Well, I've thought for a little while that Taylor Swift would actually be happy with me. I think she's been trying some guys who've been letting her down, and I'd love to take. If Taylor listens to your podcast,
Yeah.
Taylor, get in touch.
Hit Dom up.
Love
Don't
to-
hit me up.
Well,
I'm
I
taking.
did actually go
Beyonce's
first,
giving me the
just
eyes.
to say. So if she's hitting anyone up, I did actually make the claim first.
But Emily, you've got it. You're in a relationship. I'm a single man.
No, I don't know. Me and Beyonce are kind of hitting it off over this corner of the studio. We'll see.
Oh, actually, no. Speaking of the G20, I remember we were in here Sam and I doing a Sunday night show, and Obama was leaving, and like the helicopters flew over the station to head back.
While
out.
you're on air?
Yeah.
Did you bring
just
it up?
before we went on air? Yeah, we did
Yeah.
a whole show on the G20, and so that was kind of really, you know, cool for a few days, and to have our video as part of that you know, hype
Yeah.
was great, and so kind of that.
You know what was weird? The first video of yours I ever saw, this is how I discovered you guys. And
Yeah.
when you are into online stuff yourself, everyone watches everyone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I saw it was a Lab Bible one, and
Yeah.
it was about the email that when you make a stupid Hotmail account, and it was like
was that
embarrassing Hotmail accounts, and it was
remember
you and
that one.
Sam. And you're in like a office at a job interview, and you hand
Oh.
over a resume, and you're like, "Is that your email?" It was like a really
Did Lad
embarrassing.
Bible post that?
I saw it on Unilateral Lad Bible.
Are you kidding me?
But it had credit, but it may have been credited in the comments.
Right.
Which is why I probably didn't get much of it.
I had no
and
memory of
'cause
that.
I'm like the type of guy who's like, oh, I'm going to go look at who made this because I can't
Right.
stand Lad Bible and stuff.
Well, that was that would have been early 2015.
yeah,
I'm
it was
guessing,
ages
yeah.
ago. And then I worked out I saw the Hit 105 thing, and then I
Right.
started listening to the podcast almost
Right.
like the next day. And I was
Jeez.
like,
well, I'm glad you found us too. I don't think I barely remember that video, so I'm
yeah,
glad it's not
that
getting your
video
mind.
got you a fan. And now we're here today. So
Well, yeah, and then I guess, you know, so we started having a bit of support behind the videos, and I say a bit, I do mean a bit. It was like, you know, we would average maybe on YouTube 5,000-6,000 views on total, and then
Yeah.
maybe a few more on Facebook.
that's what I'm getting now.
Well, YouTube's an
I have
unusual
not
thing.
picked up on YouTube. I just haven't focused on it. I've been really focusing
Yeah,
on Facebook,
right.
and that's paid off. But
Yeah.
now I need to start focusing on YouTube
Right?
because
Yeah, YouTube's an interesting one. We've never.
I don't know how to grow on YouTube. I'm still trying to work it out.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. And
Yeah.
I have no qualifications to talk.
No.
I don't really know.
Well,
really,
yeah, I was looking. You guys are on like 12 now, aren't you?
yeah, something like that.
Now
I mean,
I'm on like 8.
Zach and Michael run all that stuff, so they'd be the ones to.
Yeah.
Basically,
My YouTube audience is just people who come over from Facebook. That's
right. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So no, we kept building, I guess, and then Zach joined the show mid 2015, and Then things continue to grow. The 3-man show's going pretty well. And then mid-2016, Sam went off to do his thing, I guess.
So what happened there? Did he go off to do teaching or something?
Yeah, to uni.
He just didn't want to do radio?
Things weren't really... There was not much progress happening. It was kind of, we'd been doing
but
4 or 5
when he
years.
left, I remember I was saying to Emily, because, I used to tag her in some of your video stuff, and I was like, man, one guy left their group. I know they're going to make it. I was like, I'm telling you, they're going to get on, national, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen the next year, and then it pretty much did.
See, it was interesting, because there was this sense of, of when Zach and I started working together, on air. It was quite a clear sense that I had of, there's something clicking here. Do you know what I mean?
With Zach, yeah.
And very quickly, that is kind of how it eventuated. We got... I remember the first pivotal moment with Zach was August of last year, when the boss said he's got... So we were just doing Sunday nights then, and the boss said he's found funding for us to do an Olympic show. So we did 2 weeks every night of the Olympics.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember in that show there was one moment, I think second or third night, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, oh yeah, there's something here. There's something's clicking. I'm loving, I'm really enjoying it, right? And then we, the end of last year, got given the national show, which I can still remember. It was in a meeting room just at the back of that office there. And
that's crazy.
And that was
how did that feel? 5 years of doing, you started community radio, and you got the national radio show. That's crazy.
Well, see, I grew up listening to some National Late Night shows like Dan and Leon on Nova, and the Action Battle Team on Nova as well. And I kind of National Late Nights was always a bit of a dream. Imagine being able to do a show around the country late at night, and that being
we listen to, Emily and I listen to, whenever we're in the car after 11, it's Ox Court out, Collective Now and on.
So thank you so much. But see, there's something I love about late night radio, because it's you guys know this, late at night, you're driving around, it's quite a lonely thing to do. Oh, yeah. Not many cars on the road.
It's funny, I've heard you guys on air, on a night out, we went out with a few friends in the cab on the way there, and the cab was pumping out, and I was like, well done, boys. So I was just awesome. It was great.
That's great. Well, so yeah, and that's what we've been doing this year, and honestly, I'm just I still kind of wake up every day am I really being paid to do this? This is the dream job.
It's the dream job.
Yeah, no, I'm and honestly, I just so much of I think radio and how much you enjoy it is who you work with. Do you know what I mean? Because imagine if you were with someone you didn't like, right?
Oh yeah, and I think you can. I'm not dropping names and stuff, obviously, because you can't. But I can actually. I don't give a shit. But Rove and Sam, I don't know. You can say no comment to all these, but I think you can tell when the chemistry is not there when they've been put together. So say a ex-Bachelor contestant and a existing comedian, and they get joined together and they go, hi, I'm Rove. Hi, I'm Sam. I'll just use them as an example. And
Luke's doing the most awkward handshake
I'm doing a physical handshake for no reason. This is an audio medium. But anyway, I think you can sometimes tell when people have been put together and it doesn't work. The show doesn't work on it.
I mean, essentially what any radio show is, or, geez, I sound like I'm talking like some authority. I don't. I'm 23 and I really don't. I've done 5 years, right?
Yeah.
But the shows I've enjoyed listening to, the conversation sounds like if they'd caught up for a coffee, right? Or if they'd gone for a beer, or, you know what I mean?
You can tell that Hamish and Andy are best mates. And it's why they are where they are.
They're having a genuine conversation. Yeah. Two people having a real conversation. Yeah. And I think we're coming out of a model of, for years, in the 90s and stuff, the breakfast shows were, all shows really were put together so you'd fill the roles. The funny guy, you got maybe the former sports player or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of the best shows, to their credit, some of the best shows have come from that, right?
Yeah, it works.
But it's like a fluke, right? It's like an arranged marriage, right? It's
all three parties have to get along and have to click right from the start.
Sometimes arranged marriages, from things I've read into, right? Sometimes they end up with the best relationships. Sometimes it ends up actually working out. Yeah. But it's always a punt, right?
Yes.
Whereas, Hamish and Andy, Dan and Maz to a large extent, a lot of these shows that I really have loved over the years kind of came into it together. You know, we want to do this, we have a pre-existing relationship that we want to bring here.
Yeah.
And so when Zach and I took to the radio for the first time as the two-man show, yes, it was the first time we'd done it as the two of us.
But it wasn't the first time that you'd had that conversation before. Yeah. And it was natural on air.
We've been chatting like that for years, right? So, yeah, I mean, and now the hours are nuts. I mean, I'm waking up at midday earliest every weekday.
Yeah, that's me, but I don't have an excuse. I don't have a job.
Oh, no word of a lie, honestly.
Well, I am out late at gigs. I get home like midnight, gigs, and then because you still kind of get the rush from on
Yes,
stage,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
hard
yeah.
to get sleep, and you're thinking about what could have I said, and you
Oh,
write things down.
that's so after the
End
show
up
every
going to bed
night,
at 1.
I'm home at like 2 a.m. at the podcast.
Oh, yeah, you messaged me back the other night about like organising this at like 3:38, and I was like, and I got the message at 3:38, and I was like, why am I awake? It's like, go to bed. I know he's finished radio. I'm just been doing nothing.
See, I've got a lot of friends who are like, Dom, is everything okay? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you messaged me at 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh, that's a normal time for me. Like,
Yeah. See, people go, dude, is everything okay? And I'm like, no.
Well, yeah,
I'm broken.
Well, see, that's in one sense, the hours are killer. In the other sense, I've lived these hours since I left high school anyway. I've always been a late nights person, right? So for me, it's like, it's an excuse for it. It's a reason to be up late and justifies it a bit. So, I really, I would just love to keep doing this as long as I'm allowed to. It's kind of like I found a life hack and I'm just hoping nobody notices.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's great.
And that, I guess that kind of brings us to where we're at today, which is Zach and I doing the show. Michael is our producer. We, make videos when we can as well.
Go check out their content, guys. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, if you like mine, you'll like theirs. I mean, theirs is just probably cleverer. Like, way more thought put into it. Like,
I think the thing I've enjoyed the most has been, we got a lot of, probably not as many as you, but support around the podcast, the show that we put up.
I think your podcast is probably above mine on iTunes.
I think it's neck and neck.
Oh,
I reckon,
okay.
And that's why you might not be able to hear this, but there's fierce tension between Luke and I in the studio.
Yeah, there is. And it's because of that.
Yeah, we sound like we're getting on.
No, we just
but
punched
really,
on before this.
No. There's a lot of competitiveness, and I said, we're going to beat you this year, and you said, no way, you're not. And,
no.
It's a bit harsh, but we're getting on for the most part.
We're trying, but as soon as the mics go off, it's on again.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, so no, that's, I mean, really, like, with some segments we do, right, there's people who comment on, actually, this has been the funniest thing I've realised at the time of doing radio, is initially I used to pretend, like early days radio, act as if I was like kind of cool and, you know what I mean? Yeah.
For those
fair laugh,
listening.
Emily.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well, not that you're not cool. I think you're cool.
Well, I'm not, but thank you.
You're welcome. It's just that the stuff that I listen to your show, right?
Yeah, right.
So, you like, what's the traditional Dom thing to... Okay, describe your typical Sunday night, and then I think that will just like...
Well, no, but this is the example I'll use is, right, I would tell stories as if I was going for beers with the guys, on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And
you were going for warm milks with the girls.
No, honestly, I was coming home and having a glass of strawberry Nesquik and settling in to watch Selling Houses Australia.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that was my life.
But what else is there to do in Brisbane? I mean, from what you've said, that sounds like actually a sick night in here.
That is actually, that's pretty wild by most people's standards. No, but it's like that was, it took me some years before I'm like, that's the person I should be on air as well. Like, just own it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the most flattering thing...
This podcast has changed since the start. I think I tried to be something I wasn't because I'd listened to Bill Burr's and other podcasts and Hamish and Andy. And now, man, I talk about just like fat birds for 45 minutes a week. Like, and it's just because one day, like, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, right.
And then, originally I didn't think it was, I just talked about it because I thought it was funny. Then it caught fire and stuff. And all the ideas that have come up even on this podcast, this is behind the scenes for the people listening to this podcast. This is better as.
Yeah.
But like all the ideas that really you guys who are listening to this like the best, I don't intentionally force.
Right.
I genuinely write it down during the week going, lol, should talk about that.
Well, see, this is, we have a segment on our show where Zach goes through my Google history,
it's
right?
the best
it's my
segment of
favourite.
the show.
Well, thank you.
It's so
I think.
good. So... what? You explain it. It's great.
Oh, well, so essentially, Zach came up with the idea of... Because I think he used to do it on his community show. He had a band in that he was interviewing, and he said, what can I... Like, let's do a segment, see what the most recent thing you Googled was. And one of the guys who Googled, what's the difference between... what do AM and FM mean in terms of radio, right?
Yeah.
And they had a bit of a chat about it. And so Zach thought, well, at the very least, you get, like, a conversation starter. Do you know what I mean? And it just so happened that my Google searches, when he had a look through them... happen to be really weird. And probably the most common question I get asked now is, are they real? Is that actually what you're Googling?
My favourite one was you Googling if you should hand yourself into the police after a speeding. What did you Google?
Can you turn yourself in for speeding?
Yeah, can you turn yourself into the police for speeding fines? And you thought that the police would look upon you more favourably. You don't get arrested for speeding fines.
No. So I hadn't been given a fine. What had happened? I was going down the freeway and I was going like 106 and 100, right? And I saw, when you see a speed camera and you see it too late, right? And you're like, oh no, I could be in trouble on that one.
I've never gotten a speeding fine.
Well,
did you get a fine?
No, I didn't in the end, right?
Because you just freaked out on air.
Well, I spent 2 days thinking, it's coming in the mail, And then I was wondering, if I rocked up to the police station and said, hey, I was going 106 in the 100 zone the other day, I admit it, hands in the air, right?
They're going to lock you up. And
take me into the interrogation room, let's get this over with. Well, no, I guess I just wondered, is there... Because, if you put in a guilty plea, sometimes you can get off easier.
Yeah, but it's not like you're not being charged. It's an infringement. And what was the recent one? It was like,
that's true.
Oh, do I look cool with a bandana on?
Yeah, that was last Thursday.
I never Google stuff about me personally. I'll be like,
well, no,
how do you spell, or what's the difference between, or...
That one was because I was online shopping and a site suggested a bandana for me, right? As like a suggested item. And I was like, I think the Google was, are bandanas cool? Because I was really confused because I didn't think bandanas were cool, right?
No, but you looked like a pirate, as Zach said, I think. I don't know if he said that, but...
Well, no, yeah, I was like, I didn't know bandanas were cool, so I wanted to see, maybe they're in and I missed the trend.
Actually, no, I don't think you played the full discussion on the video, but... I thought you looked like, from the Instagram photo, you look like Daniel's son from the Karate Kid when he has the white... Yeah.
Well, see, we got a lot of different things on... So Zach wanted to try out what a bandana would look like on me. And we had... Some people said I looked like I was in the Iron Chef.
And did you look cool?
You know what? I think I've just come to accept I can't look cool.
Yeah. But what did Google say?
Well, Google basically had a bunch of discussion forums. That's mostly what I find, discussion forums on bandanas.
Because you're Googling personal questions that Google doesn't know the answer to.
Well, no, but I don't know. I guess
it's like Googling, hey, what do I want for lunch? And Google's like, well, here are some restaurants in your area.
I've actually Googled that before. No, and you can get like spinning wheel suggestions. And
yeah. No, Google has more than you. See, I use Google like Ask
Jeeves. You guys would get along. Emily always goes like, just say on the way here on the plane, she's like, I feel like me and Dom we're just quite similar.
Well, I was also, how much cheese is too cheese?
Oh, too much cheese.
I've eaten a wheel of brie before, and that was too much cheese because it's soft cheese as well.
Yeah, no, in saying that, I could do a wheel of brie.
I've done it, but it's just not preferable later.
Right. Well, this is
I could just leave if you guys want to just talk about cheese. That's fine. Memoirs of the cheese.
Actually, let's go around the room. Best cheese, Luke? Favourite cheese?
Coon. But here's
likes tasty plain cheese.
I like tasty plain cheese because I'm not a cheese connoisseur. I don't like cheese. No, wait. Well, okay. I like cheese.
Yeah.
I don't
like it to the extent.
I never go. I pretty much never go to the fridge and go, I'm just going to cut myself some cheese. I'll only have cheese on a sandwich.
See, that's the weird thing, though. Every night, I will come home and I'll have a piece of cheese
before
dinner.
Well, I like to think of myself as an unofficial dairy ambassador. They haven't asked me to be. But the milk, the cheese...
I've seen the milk challenges you've done on your show. Yeah. Have you ever got... Oh, I don't know. Do you get sponsored for those?
Oh, good Lord, no.
You should. You've done that many free ads for Nesquik.
No brand wants me to be their ambassador. Seriously.
If I was a milk man, I would go straight to you.
Oh, look, I've been trying, honestly, and again, I put this out every time, and this is not a joke. If there is a dairy company listening who wants to sponsor me, get in touch, right?
Oh.
Pay me in milk. There's a place in the Gold Coast hinterland called Mullaney, right? And in Mullaney, they have the Sunshine Coast hinterland, they've got a dairy there, Mullaney Dairies. And actually, try some Mullaney Dairies milk while you're up here. They've got the Gold Standard, which is the pasteurised only one, I think? So it's the non-homogenised stuff. It's the cream on top milk, and it's Mullaney Gold. And oh my gosh, like seriously, it's like a glass of
Dom's eyes just rolled into the back of his head when he said, "Oh my gosh," and he thought about.
Well, you know how some people are with a glass of nice red or whatever, right? That's me with a glass of Mullaney Gold. It's just as good as it gets.
I'm so basic, like that's how I am with like a donut and a Dorito.
Right. Well, so no, that the whole dairy thing is totally that's just my interest. No sponsorship there yet, but working on that. Emily, favourite cheese?
It's got to be like a good double brie.
Yeah, okay.
A triple brie is probably too much. It's too sticky.
Yeah,
it's really hard to cut. But saying that, I do rate a feta. Like a feta is good for a salad.
No, feta's not even in my top 10, to be honest.
Top 10? I couldn't name 10 cheeses.
Looks like tasty.
Wait, is Coon
extra tasty?
A brand or a
yes.
type of cheese?
Coon's a brand.
Yeah.
So that's not even I answered wrong.
Looks
like-
like tasty, extra tasty.
Yeah.
Cheddar.
Cheddar.
I had
you know
cheddar
cheddar.
on a sub
You
on
like
a sub
Parmesan?
before, just before we came. That's
Right,
why we were a bit
okay.
late because we're on Subway.
Okay.
But I'm so basic that this is my sub. Are you ready for my sub order?
Yeah.
Some people call me the home brand of people.
Right, okay.
Right, I'm basic
Great.
as it comes. Meatballs, cheese, lettuce, and tomato
Yeah.
on white bread.
You don't even have
No
tomato.
sauces.
You don't have tomato because it gets toasted.
No, I do have tomato.
Oh, jeez.
No, the
Tensions
tomato
in the
doesn't get
room.
No, it's cold tomato. It gets toasted
Oh, yeah,
before the
that's right,
tomato
sorry.
comes
Oh,
on. I'm
right,
not a
okay.
maniac, okay? No one's toasting tomatoes. That's
He
ridiculous.
doesn't like warm tomato. Like it's being
Really?
No one
toasted.
likes warm tomato.
I think I like warm tomato.
Oh, you like...
Like people get grilled tomato with
I
breakfast.
feel like you like warm stuff that shouldn't be warm, like milk. I don't think warm milk. I don't think milk should be warm.
Oh, do you have coffee?
No.
You don't have coffee. All right. Well, hot chocolate?
Yeah.
That's warm milk.
Yeah. But
You know
it's,
what I
I
mean?
drink it for the
The
chocolate, not the
hypocrisy.
milk.
Okay, right.
Not the milk. I'm not going, will you ever heat up a glass of milk?
Not often on its own. It has to have maybe a Nesquik, a warm Nesquik, or stuff like that. No, I like a cold milk. You live in Queensland; it's always hot up here, right? So you want a refreshing. You know, there's all VB ads for hard-earned thirst.
Yeah. Dun,
That's
dun,
it,
dun,
right?
And Dom's like, dun, 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 and he's just like putting back like heaps of calcium.
For a hard, I come in off the work, so I give me a glass of full cream, Smarter White to be great. And to answer my own question, halloumi's the best cheese.
oh,
I think.
halloumi's a good cheese
Halloumi's
too.
a great cheese. And can I just say, I agree with the brie that it is great.
Yeah.
However, brie is an interesting cheese because it so completely depends on what cracker you have to go with it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
gotta
mean?
have a good cracker.
Halloumi sounds like a tropical island,
Haven't
not
you
a
had
cheese.
halloumi?
You haven't had halloumi? Oh, Luke, you
I
haven't
thought
lived.
when you said, you know what, halloumi sounds
You know,
like
I
when
love halloumi
old
on
guys go,
toast with
that's
Vegemite."
baloney or whatever. Halloumi sounds like a term for like, nonsense.
Oh, halloumi's a Greek cheese. It's
Yeah, it's really nice.
you fry it up and
Yeah,
it's incredible.
It's good with like on toast with Vegemite. That's
It
one of the
is,
best ways to have
okay.
halloumi. I rate halloumi like that.
See, I just have halloumi on its own. I'm a
Oh, look,
standalone halloumi
I would have
man.
halloumi by itself, but like if Luke doesn't like Vegemite,
Guys, I'm
but
just going to talk to Beyonce. You guys can just keep talking. Beyonce's still giving me the eyes, so you
you wanna
guys...
you know
know-
what? I'm pretty sure it's actually looking more at me, if we're being honest.
Well,
I'm just going to give my...
Oh, okay.
I've
Just
just moved her, and now it's just us.
watch out.
I'm going to give you my
Lisa,
cheese
make
ratings if you're ready for this.
Yeah, go.
Halloumi's number 1.
Yeah.
Colby is number 2. I don't know if you had Colby. Colby cheese is great cheese.
Because everyone asked.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
Dom,
know,
what
I
are your
know.
top
I'm
10 cheeses?
volunteering this information. I don't care, and you're not getting out of it. And do not dare edit this out of the podcast. This stays in. So halloumi's number 1. Colby's number 2. Probably Parmesan number 3. Cheddar number 4.
I like a Parmesan
Oh,
because I
did
like
you-
Did you
spaghetti.
hear the Parmesan fact that's been released?
which
It's
is
not
this?
not vegetarian.
Yes, well, Zach's a vegetarian, right?
Oh,
and
and he's
he
been
found this the other night, and he feels like he's in shock at the
cheating,
moment.
yeah.
I am not a vegetarian, so Parmesan's fine by
Yeah,
me.
it's fine.
I am a celiac, but that's cheese is no gluten, so I'm fine with that. Probably at 5, I would go brie. Probably sneaking
Yeah.
at 5. Maybe a camembert at 6.
You said before brie wasn't in your top 10.
No, he said,
I said
feta's not.
Feta's not in my top 10. Come on, mate. I know my. You're not going to catch me out with my cheeses.
I'm literally trying to pull you up on a cheese thing, and I've now realised that that's impossible.
I think mozzarella probably 7.
I've never seen anyone more confident in cheese. Obviously not in cheese discussion, but I've never seen anyone more confident with anything as you are with cheese.
Man, seriously, I'm a big cheese guy, and I will regularly sit down with a block of Colby, and so it's just a kid walking through the office, and I don't know whose kid that is. I'll just sit down with a block of Colby cheese and just a peeler, and just
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go
I mean,
ham.
what a great
Go
day.
cheese.
What a
Before
perfect
we
day.
wrap up the podcast, sorry guys, are you done?
is this near the end of the podcast? I thought we were just warming up.
There's
You're
a lot
like,
more cheese chat to be had.
I was going to get into my top 10 dairy, just dairy-based products in general after
I
this.
can do that.
Give us your top 3.
Well, look, full cream milk. It's got to be up there, and if you can get
Mine's
pasteurized
just
only.
chocolate, I guess.
Really, I don't know if I'd count chocolate as a dairy.
Oh, like pure dairy.
Yeah.
What's even a third? Milk and cheese. That's all I can think of.
Cream, mate. Yogurt.
Nah.
Yeah, butter.
Yogurt's all right. Butter. Yeah, probably
Okay.
butter third.
Actually, can I ask everyone listening to this podcast? Can you do one favor for me, right?
Yeah.
Because I realized the other day, for most people, in fact, I'll ask you guys, when is the last time you just had a glass of full cream cold milk? Just
Probably
on
about
its
a
own.
week ago.
A week ago?
Like
But it tends to make me sick
when I was a
sometimes.
kid.
When you're a kid. See, this is what I find. Most people give it up when they're a kid.
I have
right?
Milo Like, I love chocolate milk.
Yeah, but that's not the same. What I'd love everyone listening to this to do is, get up now if you can. If you're maybe driving or on a bus, that's hard. But next time, when you
Speak
can...
to your bus driver, get him to pull over and say, take me to the nearest 7-Eleven.
Go to the fridge, get a glass of full cream milk and just taste it. And I think most people will agree with me that it is a great beverage choice. I
don't think this is the podcast to be starting a milk revolution on. I'm not sure if this is your target audience for dairy fans.
Oh, you know what? But I'm saying you're probably listening to this and thinking, I'm not going to like that. But I'm telling you.
I have mine with cookies. Not that I'm dipping
bad.
it. I just have cookie and I have my milk
But
at the
I
same
don't
time.
even rate milk that much. You know, like you finish your cereal and there's always a bit of milk sitting at the end.
Yeah,
I
right.
think that's the worst part of the cereal. No, I don't pour it out. I drink it, but it's not my favourite.
Well, see, no, I agree with that because it's you've been tampered with. You want the pure milk.
It's tainted.
It's tainted
I kind
milk.
of like the tainted, whatever cereal I've been having. I like a bit of Bix in there. I like I like a Cocoa Pop, residue because again, it improves the milk, and I don't like plain milk.
I feel like I hope there's one thing maybe this podcast has shown, Luke, and that's that people say, "Are my Google searches real? Do I really love milk that much?" All this stuff. The answer is yes.
Yeah, it is.
What you're seeing is what you're getting, unfortunately.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, so as I said earlier, we're surrounded by the cardboard cutouts of all these celebrities in here. Emily sent a picture of a selfie with her and Drake to her mum. And she put it on her Snapchat as well, and she was going to see if people
has yet to respond to my
believed.
Snapchat.
I should have done it on my Snapchat at the start, see if people believed that I was with.
All right, so I sent
Drake.
it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people.
And how many people thought you were actually with Drake?
Not everyone's opened it yet.
Good friends you are. That was about an hour ago.
Well, one of them's mum, so she's a bit slow on the Snapchat. But I did have 2 responses going, "Wow, that's amazing. Hope you have," and then another one was, "Hope you're having a great time."
Wow.
So
how famous do they think I am?
Yeah,
that
I know.
like you go like my first ever national tour,
we're
like
just hanging out with Drake.
doing dingy pubs and then rolling with Drake. Like,
Can I just say, I'm impressed your mum's on Snapchat. Oh,
You know what? She uses it for at the time, she used to send me photos of the dishwasher being like, "This needs unpacking."
yeah,
So really, I
she
just want
used
to
it
get her off
for
it.
like
chores.
yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Distributing
This is why
workloads
you don't
around
get
the
parents
house.
on social media.
My parents aren't on social media, and it's great for the content that I release. So.
I'm always amazed by a parent's ability to make social media.
But
uncool.
mum has told me, she's like, I looked at some of the stuff you've posted on Facebook. She goes, your Facebook page has grown quite a bit recently, and I'm like,
How did you even find
so
it,
you
Sharon?
can Google, you can go on a page, but you just can't interact with it if you don't have an
Right.
account. So you can view it. So mum's
Jeez.
just going on, just seeing what's happening, not interacting, which is good. But I'm just like, Mum, lay off there. All right, I'll update you verbally because I feel like you don't even understand. And she just doesn't understand. You know what? The first time she got what I was doing was for 2 years. I was going out to open mic nights, writing material, and doing videos during the day. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Trust me, Mum. There's people. They're gonna come to my show. They're gonna come to my show." And then it wasn't until she actually saw people sitting in the seats who I didn't know, like they were high school friends and stuff. She was like, "Oh."
Well, she
I
believes
get
you
it
now.
No, but now she's like, I get it. So the videos promote this now.
Right,
And
okay.
I think she put 2 and 2 together. But before that, I think, because it's their generation, they're just confused. And Dom is just completely watching the footy right now.
Sorry, I'm half listening. It's just a very close
It is a
ending
close
between
game.
Gold Coast and West Coast.
And there's 4 minutes to go.
Gold Coast are down by 3 points with 4 minutes left, and this will be a massive win from that. It's an awful kick. All right, we can watch the rest of this
have you
game.
got any more comments to say?
Have we already done what was his favourite cheese? Did we do that?
Yeah.
Hang on. Maybe list your top 10. I don't think we did that.
No, we didn't go through cheeses enough. I mean, honestly, it would have been my preference to spend the entire hour on cheese.
Yes.
But, you can't have everything in this
No.
world. I can give you a sound effect if you want.
Oh, yeah. So we're in a radio station. Let's do a game show.
A game show. Okay. You got some questions for me, or am I just going to play the music?
Yeah, I'm going to do some questions
All
for
right, here we
Emily.
go.
Welcome to How Well Do You Know Your Boyfriend? You're joined by your host, Luke Kidgell. Playing is Emily Lowcock. Emily, how well do you know your boyfriend?
Pretty well.
Have you got a ding?
Yeah, well, you got to ask a question first.
No, that was it.
Oh, that was the...
Oh, that was the question.
Do a
Pretty
ding.
well? Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Hey!
And what you're hearing there is how sharp I usually am on the buttons on this show. I'm really not very good at it, which is often to Zach's amusement.
What's the worst thing about me?
Do you want me to say your eyes?
Actually, what's the best thing about me?
You want me to say your eyes? Because Luke thinks his eyes are God's gift.
Give her a buzz because they are God's gift. Thank you. Would you agree that I have electric blue eyes?
Electric isn't the word I would have used, but they are, they are nice.
He
I
thinks
think it's
they're
in
drops
that.
from like
But
ocean. I
you're
don't know.
kind of giving me a glare at the moment, Luke, which is a little scary. I'll be honest. I'm a bit intimidated.
No, you're looking at the TV watching the footy.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make out like you're making eye contact with me.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. But I mean, it's 2 minutes left now, Luke.
Dom's
He's
excited.
nailed it. The Suns are in front. Come on.
This is the difference between podcasts and radio. Like, you can just do what you want. If you want to talk about cheese for 20 minutes, yeah, it's a podcast.
Oh, yeah, sure. This
Talk
is the
about
stuff Zach
cheese.
doesn't let me do.
Yeah,
You've
you're
let me
having
run
a field
free here.
day in here.
This is all the stuff I've wanted to do on the show for a long time, and Zach hasn't let me, so I'm having a lot of
Well,
fun.
this is the most star-studded podcast I've done. I mean, Osher hasn't said much, neither's Beyonce or Drake or Taylor,
Oh,
but the
actually-
fact that they've been in their company.
Should we, any last comments, guys? No, okay, that's cool.
No worries.
Nothing to add.
Thanks for that, Osher. Drake, I was going to do a Drake reference, but I actually just despise his music. I know Hotline Bling.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's got
Is that
some
what it
bling
is?
around his neck, so
Yeah, it's not Hotline Bling, though. It's just regular bling. We should have said this at the start. Zach couldn't join us today,
Oh,
the
yes.
other member of Collective
Well,
Now.
see, Zach's got a wife, right? So he's got, like, stuff going
Yeah,
on
I
the weekend.
found out that. Is that strange how, like, one of your best mates has a wife? Do you have a girlfand?
No, I don't have a girlfriend.
no, because that's why he's hitting up Taylor.
Yeah, that's it.
true.
Come on. I mean, although in saying that, if your
Also, I'm
listeners
also
are
hitting up
advertising,
Beyonce. Yeah.
if your listeners are single and interested, I mean, get
And
in
like
touch.
sharing a nice glass of milk, but
Yeah.
not sharing, getting your own. and
Getting your
drinking it.
See, you get me, Luke.
Yeah.
You get me, right? No, so I mean, as long as I've known Zach, he got married at like 23, right? So he's
Really?
had a wife as
How
long as I've
old
known him.
is he now?
27. So,
Really?
Yeah. So no, as long as I've known him, really,
Locked it
he's been
down.
married, and yeah. So no, it's not weird. It just means I don't see him socially much outside of work.
Okay.
Because he's got somebody better to spend time with, understandably.
You just hang out with Taylor in the studio.
Oh, I just come in here on the weekends and, look at the microphones and reflect on a great industry and a great, medium, the radio medium.
and cheese.
And
So-
cheese, with a whole selection of cheese boards. Yeah, it's a great life. What can I
Well,
say?
Thank you very much for joining me on the podcast, and thank you very much for letting us record in this such a professional setup.
Not a
I'm
problem.
going to cry next week back in my bedroom, like talking just to myself, going like, man.
Oh, you owe us one back. Zach and I coming to do the radio show from your bedroom one night.
Yes, that would be, if you're ever in Melbourne, oh my God, broadcast from my house. That would be hilarious. It would only be funny for the 1,000 people who listen to this.
It's so weird, by the way, Luke, because right now, normally I do the anchoring on the show. So the welcome back to the show. Well, we're wrapping up now.
Well, no, this is great. You've actually been anchoring my podcast.
Yeah, right.
And because you're behind the desk pushing the buttons right now,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here
On the
doing
desk,
nothing
on
on
the
my
guest
own
board.
podcast. I forgot briefly
See,
that
I
this
feel
was my podcast.
I honestly 3 or 4 times I've had to stop myself going, well, Luke, it's been great having you on today.
Yeah, no, you should wrap it up. I'm
Do you,
sick
want
of
do you want me to wrap it up?
Yeah, wrap
All
it
right,
up.
when's the next podcast coming out? Just
Next Monday.
Next Monday? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much for listening. It's been great to be joined by Luke today on his own podcast.
Yeah.
Go and see him live. You got some shows coming up, Luke?
Probably not by this
No,
stage.
not by this stage. Well, then always check him out on Facebook. You can get in touch with him 24/7 on his Facebook page, facebook.com/Luke Kidgell.
Yep.
Yep, great. And we'll see you next Monday. Goodbye.